Then came the final public comment, which I wasn't prepared for, honestly. I am not going to lie to you. I was prepared for what I had to say, but I wasn't prepared for what I had to witness. But this one mattered. When I say this one mattered. Because sometimes when you sit in these meetings, you hear something that hits you in your chest, punches you, boom, right in your chest. And this night, our youth football leagues came out. Parents, coaches, team leaders, people who pour into our children. They came out and spoke about field fees. They talked about what they were are being charged. They talked about the pressure it puts on their organizations. They talked about what it feels like to serve the city's youth and still feel like they are being hit with fees just because it's the city's fields and they're not parks and rec programs. And I supported them without hesitation because I came through those systems. I played basketball for the Southampton Hornets. I played very shortly for the Aberdeen Raiders football team before I was too big. As anybody knows me, I'm big. But I was too big to play for the Raiders at one point, so I had to move on to JV football at Hampton High. But I know what those leagues mean. Those are not just sports. They are structure. They are discipline. They are mentorship. They are community. They are a safe place for kids to belong. And when people are volunteering their time, coaching our kids, organizing the teams, helping the families, and building community, the city should be looking for ways to support that, not make it harder. The city manager and the Parks and Recreational Director did respond. They said they would meet up and work through it, and that is good that they were meeting in the back. And I look forward to seeing the results in that. Hopefully, I can bring the results here once they figure it out and have all the conversations and get everything done. But that is good. That should the standard should be clear. If youth leagues are doing work that benefits the entire city, the city should not nickel and dime them in the struggle. That and that is not a budget issue. That is a value issue. So now we're going to go to the video insert where I have the first one is going to be one of the leaders speaking about the youth football and field fees to city council. He says his name, so I'm not going to say his name, but it says his name. And so I'm going to give you his full comment. And mind you, there were multiple people that spoke on this, but they don't have time to give everybody, unfortunately. But it was a lot of people that spoke. And then I'm going to give my public comment as well after him, too, as well. So here's that.
Right. Sorry, Mr. Stevens, you can go ahead.
Yes, before we get started, where's it's right there.
Right here.
Okay, all right. Honorable Mayor Gray and Vice Mayor Brown and the rest of the City Council, good evening. I am Jay Steffens, President of Peninsula Youth Football and Cheerleading. We'll just call it PIFCO for short. I would like to talk with you about the city's current policy to double tax kids that play in a 100% volunteer program. There are 5 youth football programs under the PIFCO umbrella. You have Hokies, Broncos, Tornadoes, Kappa Cardinals, and the Eagles. They service about 800 to 1,000 kids between the ages of 5 and 14. They collectively put close to 100 adults on the fields to mentor kids. Once again, let me state, they are 100% volunteer programs, and let me include, these are Hampton citizens. Well, we received a letter and had a follow-up meeting from Hampton Parks and Rec Department, which informed our teams that they will be receiving a $3,500 to roughly about $6,000 a year bill per team to practice on fields that they have been on for years. Also, these fields are not occupied by any other organization. This is something totally new. I think it's important to know that these fees didn't come out until a longstanding program left Parks and Rec, but that's a whole nother story. I believe everyone can fully understand getting a fee to use fields for game day. And I have no doubt that this is feasible and we can make that happen. However, The other fees that really only affect kids going to football practice are designed to purposely create hardships for the programs because they do not play in Parks and Rec. The kids in these programs are citizens. Their family pay taxes, the use of fields, and they are systematically being put off of them. This fee is a double tax. Okay, this fee is a double tax. This revenue that Parks and Rec is forcing isn't included in the city's 2026 budget. It is designed to create a hardship on citizens, and that is wrong. I don't really have enough time to go through everything. I'm just going to leave with this. We live in a time where success of cities rise and fall with the community partners and volunteerism. Everyday average citizens in city council, here we are. Volunteering to mentor close to 1,000 kids. We are 100% volunteer nonprofit. We are not asking for any special privileges from the city. We are not draining any resources. At a time where groups of kids are assembling in public areas, we are here to help with the problem. Why would the city double tax us to a point where we can't be of assistance? I humbly ask you to review this policy. Help us help the kids. Thank you for hearing me out, and I look forward to discussing this with you in detail in the future.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm Jay Steffens, Peninsula Youth Football.
Thank you, Ms. Steffens. Next speaker then is Aaron Weaver.
Aaron Weaver, waive those fees. I want to speak on the reason I came up here, other than waiving those fees. April 9th special session is where, I want to speak on the April 9th special session where City Council traveled to Hanover and Haraco to tour data centers and redevelopment projects. According to the notice of action, the purpose of this trip was to strengthen understanding of digital infrastructure and economic development. Opportunities and portions of that meeting were held in closed session due to proprietary information being shared. I understand the need for that confidentiality in certain situations, especially when private businesses are involved. That part makes sense. But at the same time, this was a full council trip involving, other than Councilwoman Fairby, involving travel, staff, and time. It was clearly ties into the future economic development decisions that will impact this city. So my question is simple: what did we learn, and what comes next? Because from the public's perspective, we see the city tour data centers, discuss digital infrastructure, and explore development models in Richmond. But we don't yet know how this translates back to Hampton. Are we actively pursuing data center development here? Are there sites being considered? Are there partnerships being explored? And how does this align with our current land use infrastructure capability and long-term economic strategy? The notice of action also mentions conversations around power constraints, cooling systems, workforce needs, and even rebranding data centers as digital infrastructure. Those details raise bigger questions about readiness. So again, the question is not what was said in closed sessions. Don't use that as an excuse, please. The question is, what direction are we heading as a result of this trip? Because if this is going to influence future decisions, whether that's zoning, infrastructure, investment, or economic incentives, then the public should have a clear understanding of the vision moving forward. I'm not asking for proprietary information. I'm asking for clarity on the direction. What did we learn? How are we going to apply this here in Hampton, Virginia today? And dang, another minute, man. That's 2 minutes on top of that. All right, have a good one.